Welcome. In front of me I have the INFINIX Smart 9 HD, which is going to be a budget device, and I'll go over unboxing along with a look at the specifications and the phone itself. So anyway, opening it up, where do I start? Here? Yep, seems like a good place. There we go. So opening it up, we can get into the phone. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So in the box we also have plastic hard shell case, and we get Type-C to Type-A charging cable, headphone jack or headphone jack headphones, and SIM eject tool along with paperwork, and that's about it. Throw that trash back in here and move to the phone. So the phone, let's starting off with the display, has a 6.7-inch display with a resolution of 720 by 1600 LCD IPS running at 90 Hz refresh rate with a peak brightness of 500 nits. It also boasts an 84.8% screen to body ratio and a pixel density of 264 pixels per inch. For a little over $100 device, as it is roughly about $110, that includes tax. This device actually has a nice display, being a 90 Hz refresh rate. It is a budget phone, nearly as budget as they can get, and it comes with, like I mentioned, a higher refresh rate display, which will add a little bit of user experience, kind of positive one, I mean. So that's very good. Now, continuing on, in terms of the internals, we are looking at a 5000 mAh battery with just a 10-watt charging speed, which is a bit disappointing, to be honest. And this is going to just be the typical kind of battery type, lithium one, as it nowadays we have the silicone-based battery types, and those are allowing us to have bigger battery capacity at the same size, and also allow us to charge faster without overheating. Here, obviously the battery size isn't any bigger than traditionally the devices used to have, and the charging speed is just abysmal. Now additionally we have 3 to 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it's being powered by a Helio processor. Which one? It's not mentioned. Let's see, maybe on the box it does mention it. It would be very nice. So we have Octa processor. Great, that's very descriptive. INFINIX, you never cease to surprise me in terms of how scammy you try to be. Actually, while I'm looking at the box, let me just close it up, because there's a bunch of things that I want to kind of go over right here on the box itself. So, number one, let's just begin with the storage versions right here. 64 gigabytes of RAM, that's fine. That's what the device comes with. And that's actually the only storage choice you have. But then we have 8 gigabytes of RAM. But no, it's 4 plus 4. Now, as far as I remember, mathematically, 4A plus 4B doesn't equal 4A, or in this case, 8A. That's not how math works. And the reason I'm putting A and B in here is because A, for instance, would be the actual RAM, which is random access memory. The second 4 refers to storage, the one that is part of 64 gigs, which inadvertently means that you don't have 64 gigabytes of storage, you actually have 60 gigabytes of storage. So there's already a scam happening right here, and converting this into this doesn't really work. Otherwise, people with desktops would be running with terabytes of storage. We would have been just converting SSDs or NVMEs, terabytes of them, into RAM. But there is a reason we don't, because it fucking sucks. So, same thing applies here. no reason to do that. It is, and marketing it as such is just a blatant scam. Now, other things here that are just like, what the hell is this? Is this 300% dual speaker? 300% what? Next, dual speakers, 300% ultra volume. Does it mean that it gets 300% louder? But then wouldn't that just be ultra volume or just available volume of the device? I'm pretty sure my home theater setup can blast this thing more than 300% louder than this phone can. So no kind of reference to what it refers to, is just scamming again. Then we have 90 Hz refresh rate, that's accurate, and 6.7 inch punch hole display. Isn't it usually the other way around, hole punched display? But anyway, I'm just nitpicking right here. We have 5-meter flashlight. I'm assuming it just refers to the actual flashlight, which, yeah, other devices have that too. And at the back, we again have the 300% ultra volume. I'm not sure why they are like marketing this so hard. And then the octa-core processor, which again, just a nothing burger. Most processor, as far as I've seen, are octa-core on phones, so it's very undescriptive. How about give me the clock speeds? So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to go over right here. The box has a lot of just garbage around. So now let's go back to the phone itself. Now, I already mentioned the storage and the processor and RAM. And like I mentioned in that, we have 3 or 4 gigabyte of RAM models. There is no 8, as you can see on the box. So this one is the 4, which is the higher end model. And you can have lower one. And I don't know what it's going to show on the box. Is it going to be 6 gigabytes of RAM in this case or whatever? But just know that you have either 3 or 4 in reality. And moving on to the cameras, which I haven't talked about yet. Not sure if this is even a camera. No, it's not. And that's not a camera. Okay, so the main sensor, which is this one on the top, is a 13 megapixel f1.9 aperture 27 millimeter wide lens. And then we get an auxiliary lens, which in fancy terms is saying bullshit camera that doesn't provide you anything. And in any case, with the main sensor, you can record videos at 1080p up to 30 frames. And then at the front, we got a selfie, which is 8 megapixels wide sensor, with no mention of the capabilities of it. And last thing, because this is a relatively cut down version of a phone, this is running a Android 14 Go edition. So it is going to have the more cut down applications, like for instance a gallery instead of Google Photos and stuff like that. So the reason I'm pointing that out is because other applications that require more resources might struggle to run on this device. And there might be some features, for instance, like drawing over other apps, which will be disabled by default, and you might not have access to enable it. And that might be very important, for instance, for utilizing later on this device to copy the data from it to other devices using, for instance, the phone cloning applications, as they need to have option turned on to draw over other apps. And other things like, for instance, pop-up windows and stuff like that obviously won't be present right here, as that is also drawing over other apps. So just be very mindful when it comes down to cut down versions like this, as it might limit some kind of capabilities of the device, as it is a budget device. Now, going over the build quality as a last part, we have what looks to actually be glass. No, that's actually plastic back. So yeah, plastic back, plastic frame, fingerprint sensor on the power button, along with volume markers above that, speakers, SIM tray. There is expandable storage, so this is a SIM/SD tray. Then at the bottom we have headphone jack, Type-C charging port, microphone in between, and another speaker set. And that's about everything that there is to the device. I also want to point out one thing. So I did kind of meme on the 5-meter flashlight. We actually have a dedicated LED right here. So me showing my phone that it can also be used as a flashlight was kind of ingenuous to this device, as this would be the flash above, and this is the actual flashlight that is using non-diffused light, as flash usually has like a diffuser over it to kind of spread the light more evenly and softer. This is just straight up flashlight. So that might be something useful to some people, and I don't want to take away from this as it is included here, and I did just glance over this and kind of memed on it. So I want to kind of, put myself out there and say that I was wrong about this one. I can clearly see there is an LED diode right here. So yeah, there we go. Now with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.